Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate all the witnesses being here today. I wanted to highlight the broadband in rural areas issue, which is especially important. I think it's fundamental to our economic success and our future. It's certainly part of the infrastructure of the 21st century. Unfortunately, too many rural areas are being left behind, including some in Eastern Washington that I represent. And to make matters worse, an issue that has been highlighted this Congress is the inaccurate broadband mapping and the data that is greatly overstated the coverage in the rural areas. I'm pleased that broadband is part of the discussion today, and as we think about an infrastructure package, that this is going to be a priority. However, with the economic survival of our rural communities at stake, we often avoid the mistakes of the past. We must avoid the mistakes of the past and ensure that the limited resources we are able to provide make it to the areas that need it the most. $40 billion is a considerable amount of funding, but its ability to make a dent in the digital divide is going to be reliant on accurate data. And that's why in the coming weeks, I'm planning on introducing the House version of the Broadband Data Improvement Act. This bill will ensure that the FCC is compiling the most complete and granular data on broadband access. Mr. Lyons, how important is it for the current mapping process to be improved and made more accurate and granular before distributing new funds to deploy broadband in the rural areas?
I think it's absolutely vital. I think that analysis is only as good as the data that's fueling the analysis, right? You can have complex statistical models to figure out how something's going to work, but if it's bad data being fed into it, then you're going to get bad results out. I think everybody acknowledges that the FCC's existing mapping protocols don't really work. They're based on Form 477, which was developed back in the dial-up era, right? Back when most of us didn't have internet, and those that did were getting with that jonky static noise thing, right? The FCC is updating that, and I think it's long overdue, and it's going to be valuable. I think there's also a lot of public-private partnerships that could be valuable in this space. Things like U.S. Telecom and WISPA are currently engaged in a pilot project to map within some of their jurisdictions. Somebody mentioned crowdsourcing, which I think is also really valuable. Just getting information that's dispersed in the populace up to the FCC or some other entity that can coordinate all these separate data points into more accurate mapping is also going to be valuable.